Outside of uh, church activities, are there any sort of life events that have helped shape your faith?
Oh, definitely. So, right after high school, I got a job in Montana at a summer camp. And I can hear all my friends laughing through the computer because I talk about it all the time. But there's this summer camp. It's just a regular send your kid for a week to camp
Hmm.
kind of place. And my first summer there, I was, I guess, a cleaning lady of sorts.
Okay.
But I guess my boss's perspectives was in order to make sure that we are helping the campers grow in their faith, their perspective was, well, we have to make sure that our staff is being fed with just different, being fed spiritually.
Hmm.
So I've never had, I've never lived with people that were so dedicated to getting to know me, to seeing who I was in my faith and dedicated to helping me grow. So I've been there for 3 summers, and if this virus slows down, I'm hopefully going back for a fourth summer. Um, but that's just definitely been a very impactful place for me.
Yeah, there's no way you would know this, but I spent 5 summers working at a camp in Pennsylvania.
No way.
Yeah, 4 years as a counselor and 1 year as like the men's discipler. Camp is a very special place.
Absolutely.
I hope that kids are able to experience it, and that I laugh because it taught me somewhat what it was like to be a parent, and then
Yeah.
and then I feel for parents more because I have to deal with your kid for an entire week.
Yep.
So that's awesome. What did you do for your summers after your first one?
Sure. So the second two, or yeah, the following 2 summers, I was also a counselor. This coming summer, I'll be the media manager. So I'll be making videos, taking pictures, and then updating their social media.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, it seems like it could help me with my resume a little bit more than being a counselor again with the marketing degree and everything.
Yeah, well, um, continuing along just your journey and how you've been growing, um, and thinking about those mentors that have helped shape your faith. Do you think there are things that they would be excited about that the big church is doing, and also what LaGrave is doing?
Yeah, I definitely do. I think we've done a good job reaching out to our neighbors in the community just because LaGrave is in a pretty cool spot of the city.
Yeah.
Um, I think a lot of maybe well-to-do people come to LaGrave, and yet we're in a area of Grand Rapids that isn't well-to-do. So I think we've been put in a really awesome position where we have been able to reach out into our community and kind of broaden our horizon of who comes to church.
Yeah, that's one of the things I think LaGrave, it's bad to say prides itself on because a church shouldn't be prideful, but it's one of those things that I think makes LaGrave stand out a little bit is that they do. We partner with all kinds of organizations in the area, and we long to be a place um, that is part of the city. And what kind of experience have you had connecting with our neighborhood?
Yeah, absolutely. So I do remember the one time I did go to ETs. We went out to the city, and we were in groups of maybe 6, and we all had a leader, and we would go around and ask people if we could pray for them. And that definitely put me out of my comfort zone because, especially when I was in middle school, I wasn't the most outgoing, let me talk to you kind of person. So going in a group and going to talk to people that were very much different from me and from what I was used to was definitely a growing experience. And then also, I mean, was it every Wednesday night we had the opportunity to volunteer at LaGrave? So that was also a really awesome opportunity.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I think they are. I think they're still I think they're still working with Degage. I'm not 100% sure
That's
on
great.
that. But yeah, and that's, I think, one of the great things, as you mentioned, is that there are plenty of opportunities for people to get out into the neighborhood,
Mhm.
and be a part of this community.
For sure.
How about the flip side of that question? Are there some of those things that maybe the big church, capital C,
Mhm.
or LaGrave, maybe should be thinking about working on? Maybe something not so happy about?
I think LaGrave already is working on it, but there does seem to be this invisible barrier between, I guess, my generation and some of the older generations.
Mm.
Um, and I don't think that's anyone's fault. I just think that there does seem to be this barrier that needs to come down at some point. And maybe that's true with every generation that grows up. But I definitely know we are doing, I believe, the 1824 project, which is a great idea, I think. And college dinners are also a great way for college students to get to know people that are serving food. Um, but yeah, I know that's definitely something that we've talked about as a church about how do we integrate the older generations with the younger generations.
Yeah. Not to put you on the spot or anything, but what would be a good way, in your opinion, for sort of the generations to come together?
Hmm. Honestly, for me, I think, because I definitely think the younger generations are at fault for this too, but I think we often don't, we're comfortable with the groups that we're in. So in the multi-purpose room, for example, I think we often stick to talking to people that we might have some sort of familiarity with. So maybe making it a goal of, I don't know, talking to someone that looks way younger or way older than you, at
Yeah.
least one every Sunday. I don't
Yeah.
know. Maybe everyone does that and I'm the only one who does it. I don't know.
I don't think that's the case. This is something that is near and dear to the staff's heart. And
Mhm.
there are times where they will put up sort of some questions in the multipurpose room to just try to help stimulate people reaching out, and not just generationally, but just get outside of your comfortable bubble. You know, um, we're a decent sized church, and so it's easy for us to feel safe and comfortable in the circles that we have. Um, but as you said, it's very important for us to kind of branch out and get to know somebody else.
Right. I think part of that's hard is because it can be awkward sometimes too. So
Oh, for sure. Yes. They
yeah.
that's that is one of the reasons why we do use the questions from time to time.
That's
is
awesome.
is because we're just like, all right, we're just gonna give people something to discuss, and that way that the awkwardness is sort of abated, and hopefully people will just be like, okay, this is going to be awkward for a second, let me ask this question.
Yeah, I never even knew that was there. I'll have to check into it.
I don't it doesn't happen very frequently, and maybe with your suggestion, we can talk about doing that more regularly.